Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Duke's Dive. Before I start, I wanted to go ahead and send my well wishes to Marcus Crane, who had successful neurosurgery a little bit ago. He's still in recovery. There's a GoFundMe set up for him. He had emergency neurosurgery out of basically nowhere, and something like that leaves you with a hell of a bill, I'm sure. And the community has already raised a lot of money for him, and like I said, definitely deserving young man, one of the up-and-coming best right now in the deathmatch wrestling scene. And I'm going to go ahead and link his GoFundMe in the description here, and as well as the description of any video I put this in, I'll put the GoFundMe. But if you have some money to donate, go ahead and hit up the GoFundMe and help out a young up-and-coming wrestler and help that young man out. Anyways, this week I try to be a little bit more enthusiastic as I go into the next episode here, because of some great advice that I was given to by a tag team that I just gave my Tag Team of the Year 2019 to, Born to Wrestle. It was some great advice by some great listeners, and I think that January 26th will bring us some promotional butting of the heads between Smart Mark Alley and Born to Wrestle. So keep your eye on the prize, and let's jump into the Duke's Dive. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Duke's Dive. We're back from vacation. It's Christmas is over, the New Year's is over, birthdays is over, and it's time to get into some wrestling. We got nothing going on here the next couple of weeks, but January 25th we'll be back in Sarah, Pennsylvania. No, not Sarah, Pennsylvania. Another one in East Stroudsburg for NTS and Northern Tier Wrestling. That will be New Beginnings. That'll be in East Stroudsburg, but at the same time we're also going to be in Clearfield, Pennsylvania for Asylum Pro. That's the 25th, indeed. The 25th will be there for Caged Asylum. That's going to be a big one. It's going to be a good one up there. 3 cage matches. All the last 3 matches of the event will be taking place in a steel cage. That's Crazy Shay's promotion up there. Next week, here we might get together and do another podcast with Smart Mark Alley, and we'll probably talk to you a little bit more about those events in detail. And if you haven't watched, last week we got together and pretty much recapped our individual 2019s for the year, and just covered basically our top things that have happened over the past year. We haven't gotten together in a while, so it was a cool time to get together. So watch that if you can, up on YouTube on Smart Mark Alley. I'll leave the link below. And let's get into the heart of the matter. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this week I'm going to start off with AEW for the 8th of January 2020 here. We started out with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus Private Party. Mark, I'm not sure if I got this last name, Oliva, the double moonsault, with the double mohawk, and then Isaiah Cassidy. It was cool to see those guys on TV. That's pretty awesome. the two came up with some awesome move variations together. Omega and Page did win, but the match played up some incidental crossfire between Page and Omega, so we'll probably be seeing that down the line if they decide to continue as a tag team or whatever they're doing. Maybe if they decide to go as a tag team, we're going to see even more of that playing on the incidental crossfire between them two, and it'll come down to a match between Omega and Page. I think that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that. After the match, though, we seen the Bastard Pac backstage with the Brutalizer locked in on Michael Nakazawa, and he was demanding his one-on-one rubber match with Kenny Omega. And then Kenny rushed backstage, and then it went to a commercial break. When we came back, it was the AEW's Women's Championship match, Chris Statlander versus Rio. This was a really good one. Brandy Rhodes was on commentary. She says Chris Statlander is not an alien. Says Britt Baker looks too dense to be a doctor. Brandy on commentary was awesome. I like to hear her on commentary. She definitely understands how to do that one. And she's one of those workers that if you put them on the commentary, they do a really good job. Like your Kevin Owens or CM Punk, they do a pretty good job of commentary. I thought she was pretty funny. The Nightmare Collective did interfere in the match, and it was also the debut of Luther, the Japanese deathmatch legend, with the Nightmare Collective, as they helped Rio get the win, but she was not happy about that as she attacked the Nightmare Collective after that. After that happened, after Awesome Kong helped Rio win, but Kara Shields came out and helped Rio and Chris Statlander against Awesome Kong and Brandy Rhodes there. We move on to the next match, which was Christopher Daniels versus Sammy Guevara. This was another really good one, a very quick pace match out of Sammy, but Christopher Daniels did keep up. Was a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be, then was really getting into it, and then Pentagon Jr. interrupted from the ramp and taunted Daniels. Sammy picked up the win then. Then the Dark Order came out to try to recruit Daniels. Daniels rejected. The Order attacked. SCU and the Young Bucks came out, and the Dark Order and the SCU brawled. I'm liking what they're doing with SCU and the Dark Order here. Maybe eventually Christopher Daniels will turn over to the Dark Order, and it'll just be Scorpio Sky and I forget the other guy. I'm not very versed with the SCU, and I'm not very versed like some of you guys are with AEW, so forgive me. Scorpio Sky and Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, and I don't know. I'm sorry, somebody will call me an idiot in the comment section or something. If anybody watched this, that would be a very easy one to name the third man of SCU. But I just can't do it without closing out of the app right now, and I want to try to move things swiftly along here as we move into the next match, which was the Lucha Brothers versus the Rhodes Brothers. The Rhodes, the Brotherhood, if you will, with Arn Anderson. These guys battled back and forth, and then Ray Phoenix tried to cheat. Arn Anderson ripped the chair to kind of knock the chair out of his hand. Dustin Rhodes hit a Canadian Destroyer in this match. Dustin did pin Ray with the final reckoning. Dustin did come out with some new music. I enjoyed his music this week. I thought, as the young kids say, I thought it slapped. That was cringeworthy. No, it was good music. I liked it. I enjoyed his entrance music. There's not really much more to say. Arn Anderson gets in the ring and he addresses the challenge laid by Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and he says that him and Cody will think about that match. Then we move on, and Laney Poffo was on the screen, talking about the legends of Memphis wrestling. So, it's always awesome to see Laney Poffo on the screen, and when I see Laney Poffo on the screen, I take note, Can you blame me? The man's a legend. Brother of, Macho Man Randy Savage, Laney Poffo. Then we had an MJF segment. He came out there running at the gams. I don't really know what he was saying. I didn't really pay attention. But DDP come out and he was going to answer the question that a lot of people were asking, that was if he was going to be coming back. Then MJF interrupts him and says that DDP couldn't beat him on his best day, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Then the Butcher and the Blade come out. DDP gets attacked. Then we had another commercial break right in the middle of the action. I think, no, I don't know. Yeah, no, it wasn't that way. I'm sorry, I do apologize. No, wait, yeah. After they came out, there was a commercial saved, and then during the commercial and in picture-to-picture, the Rhodes brothers came out to make the save. Maybe I'm wrong there, I don't know, but it was definitely close to it. They came out and then it went picture-in-picture. But the next thing up here was the Jurassic Express versus the Best Friends in Orange Cassidy. This one was my match of the show. It was awesome. The crowd loved Marco. This was his hometown show. Crowd ate him up. I'm really getting behind Luchasaurus. I really like him. He's pretty awesome. Luchasaurus and Cassidy, the exchange between them two in this match was awesome. Really neat. And then we see Jungle Boy beat Chuck Taylor with a reverse Rana. It kind of ended a little swiftly, but the match was evenly paced. Everybody had enough time to shine, I think, and yeah, I just love to see, Chuck Taylor and Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta get TV time, and then they're going up a team that is they are going up against a team that is as innovative as Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Marco Stunt. I think that's a pretty innovative little team there. I think it's pretty awesome. So Jurassic Express is one of my teams to watch out for in 2020. I may not have been as versed as some people in the AEW community are with them, but I hope to change that in 2020, especially with stuff like this. It'll be pretty easy to keep up with them guys. The next thing we move on to is Jon Moxley addressing the Inner Circle. He comes on out to announce if he's going to be joining the Inner Circle or not. It was a commercial break type of situation where it was picture-in-picture, but Sammy Guevara played that picture-in-picture perfectly with postcards, and he plugged the social media and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. That's a really neat way to use your time on television, whether you're on a main picture or picture-in-picture. And, that's something we're going to have to be looking at in 2020 as well, is television time as opposed to picture-in-picture television time and stuff like that. I think brands like, SmackDown was trying to get rid of or do away with picture-in-picture, and then some people really rely heavily on that picture-in-picture, especially on NXT, it seemed. The Wednesday Wars, NXT and AEW seem to rely heavily on the picture-in-picture stuff. So, like I said, I think that's going to be a major talking point in 2020. If you're asking me, is in-ring time versus in-ring picture-in-picture time, and how to use that, properly, how to utilize your time on TV properly, whether that be in the ring, on the main picture, or picture-in-picture. And they're going to be talking about this being a focal point of how to properly use your picture-in-picture time. That's just me. Moxley says Jericho offered him the wrong things. He does not want money, but he will join the Inner Circle because he wants to dominate AEW. And he goes on this long rant, and then immediately says, I'm just kidding. I would never join the Inner Circle. They have nothing to offer me besides the belt. And then he attacks Jericho. Hits him with the, I forget what they're calling that. Not the Dirty Deeds yet, is it? I don't know. Like I said, so I'm sure somebody who's more pays attention to me. I have watched the latest Being the Elite. I'm caught up with Being the Elite with as far as back as when I started AEW. I have now also caught up with Being the Elite, so that's something. I have now caught up with that, and I've now caught up with the room service with wrestlers. So, like I said, pretty good stuff out of AEW this week. NXT has a lot to compete with this week, and if you stay here to the end of the show, well, you'll find out if I believe it, whether or not they topped AEW or not. So join me here in a few seconds, and I'm going to discuss NXT. Thank you. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the NXT wrap-up here. Let's go jump right into it. We opened up with Rhea Ripley addressing the NXT universe after becoming NXT champion. This was her first time addressing the NXT universe as champion. She is interrupted by Toni Storm, who tells her she has beaten her multiple times and will become the double champ at Worlds Collide. Kaylee Ray comes out, then Io Shirai comes out and challenges Rhea. After Kaylee Ray challenges her, excuse me, holy moly, let me first back up here. Kaylee Ray comes out and then challenges Toni Storm for her NXT championship, UK championship, and says that she wouldn't get past her. And then, make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, and then Kaylee Ray comes out and then challenges Toni Storm. And then Io Shirai comes out and challenges Rhea. And then Bianca Belair comes out and challenges Rhea. And then Candice LeRae comes out, and basically all these women brawl. Then William Regal makes a 6-woman tag match. So you have Kaylee Ray, Bianca Belair, and Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, and Candice LeRae. It was a good match, and everyone got enough ring time. Shirai actually attacks Belair, and then Rhea Ripley hits Belair with a Riptide for the win on that one. And we move into the next match here. We'll keep it moving because I want to keep it timely. We move on to the next match, which is a 2020 Tag Team Classic Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match of 2020. It is the Forgotten Sons, which is Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake versus Imperium, Fidian Aichner and Marcel Barthel. Yeah. Words. Aichner had a broken nose. He had a one of those broken nose mask gimmicks on. Super Smash Mouth style match between these guys. Very cool match. I like the Forgotten Sons. And, I'm still learning a lot about Imperium, but Imperium did get the upper hand on this one as they won the first round of the Dusty Rhodes Classic for 2020. We move on to Austin Theory versus Joaquin. I have it written down here as Phoenix. I don't know if that was meant to be a joke on my end. I thought it was. I don't know what was going on there. This Joaquin Wild, which is actually DJ Zima. These guys put on a great match, but this was just a little way too short for my opinion. And the minute everything started getting good, it just ends. But that's my only thing. The match was great. I like to see DJ Z. That's pretty awesome. Theory wins with a TKO, and definitely hope to see more of Joaquin Phoenix. We move on to the next match, which was the second round for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. This was my match of the show. It was Undisputed Era versus Gallus. Gallus is a faction in the United Kingdom, which involves Wolfgang, Mark Coffey, and the other Coffey guy, John Coffey. Because I do my research here, half-assed, but I do some research. But like I said, Gallus is a stable in NXT. It consists of 3 people. This was a very classic tag team match all the way up until the end, when they did some Topekon Heroes. But other than that, the match was a pretty straightforward, old school style, super, tag team match. Old school style tag team match in my book. Undisputed Era, of course, pulled out a cheat to win, and Roderick Strong interfered and cost Gallus the win. Gallus, of course, like I said, a stable in NXT. They are also the NXT UK Tag Team Champions, so this was a Tag Team Champion versus Tag Team Champion match. And your NXT US Tag Team Champions won in this round over your NXT UK Champion. So, we move on in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I think it will be then the Undisputed Era taking on Imperium. That would be really good. That's super good. Next up here, though, we have Johnny Gargano coming out and cutting a promo on Finn Balor, challenging him, saying about how Finn Balor cost him a couple months and a NXT takeover, and he never misses NXT takeover. Finn Balor comes out and says, that was a good promo, maybe we should call you Johnny Promo, because that's all the doctors will clear you to do is cut a promo. Johnny Gargano says he could have left NXT and came back. That was the difference between Finn Balor and him. Finn Balor abandoned the NXT universe while he picked the NXT universe up when Finn left and took it to new heights without him. But Balor says that he will give him a match at TakeOver Portland if Regal allows it. So NXT Portland is looking like our next NXT event, and then we will head into NXT Worlds Collide. This Sunday, of course, is NXT TakeOver Blackpool, as well as Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. Next up, we had a little bit of a squash match, an enhancement match between Caden Carter and Maya Yim. I feel like Maya Yim will probably be the next one to challenge Ripley after she beats whoever she does in her next defense. I think once I get to the end here, we'll see a feud here between these two people, and then Maya Yim will probably move on to take on Rhea Ripley. That's how I feel anyway. Carter did get in a nice bit of offense, but Mia won the match with a protect your neck out of nowhere. After the match, Chelsea Green debuts and attacks Maya Yim. Robbie E, aka Robert Stone, debuts as Robert Stone brand, and his first client is Chelsea Green. Like I said, I think we'll end up seeing a nice little feud out of Maya Yim and Chelsea Green here, and then Maya Yim will probably move on to face Rhea Ripley. But I hope the next client that is in the Robert Stone brand is Deonna Purrazzo, because going off of how close Chelsea and Deonna are, or at least on social media, it would make sense to keep them together, and I think that'd be awesome to have them under the Robert Stone brand. Next up, we have our main event of the evening, which was the NXT North American title #1 contender match. We had Damian Priest versus Dominik Dijakovic versus Cameron Grimes versus Keith Lee. This was a chaotic style fatal 4-way. A little bit too chaotic for my taste, which is why I gave my nod of the night to the tag team match, because you don't really get to see too much out of one particular person or even two particular people when you got a multi-man match. I do like multi-man matches, but I don't know, over the past couple of years I've grown away from them. Seen a couple of bad ones, not particularly terrible, but I don't know, it seems like a way to get everybody in there, and everybody did get their stuff in, but you kind of, those are the kind of matches that are made to, I want to see more out of these two guys, or I want to see more out of, him and him, and I think that these are great ways to set those feuds up, like Priest and Dunn, or Grimes and Lee, or Lee and Dijakovic. Just different things like that. Keith Lee used Damian Priest as a weapon in this match. All the guys meshed really, really well. There was an amazing collision course reversal out of the pounce by Cameron Grimes when Keith Lee went to pounce him. I thought that was really cool. Lee wins with a huge spirit bomb to Grimes, and then he is now your #1 contender for the North American title. So I'm thinking that will be taking place at NXT TakeOver Portland, which I'm pretty sure we right now have 3 matches announced for so far. Basically what you have is Valor versus Johnny Gargano. You have the North American #1 title match, which is Damian Priest versus Dominik Dijakovic. Holy moly. Roderick Strong versus Keith Lee, and I think we're also going to see Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa. So basically that's my report on NXT. On this one, I give the nod to AEW this week. I think they had the better show. My match of the week, I give to the Jurassic Express versus Best Friends in Orange Cassidy. And if you haven't seen Tony Deppen versus Casanova Valentine No Ring Death Match, go on YouTube, look up Casanova Valentine's YouTube channel, it's right on his YouTube channel, or look up Tony Deppen versus Casanova Valentine No Ring Death Match. I'm going to put the link in the dinky doodle below here. It's definitely worth watching. Within the first minute, Tony Deppen had me roaring, cracking up, waiting for that 1 hour stand-up special, comedy special where Tony Deppen just roasts wrestling fans. That'd be awesome. So, like I said, check out that YouTube video. Hopefully next week here, Smart Mark Alley will get together again and do another episode of Who Booked This Crap. We will also have another episode from me, as another episode of Duke's Dive will be available next week, and I'll have some notes. I don't know whether I'll have those for the next episode of Smart Mark Alley Who Booked This Crap or the Duke's Dive for next week, but I will have notes on Hard to Kill and possibly some NXT TakeOver UK TakeOver Blackpool notes, because I don't know anything about NXT UK other than what I've been seeing over the past couple of weeks and stuff from NXT US. So basically, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for keeping up with the Duke's Dive this week, and tune in next week. Thank you, and good night.